Welcome to video 2 for EPS88. So in this video we're going to be looking at um, Jupyter notebooks and kind of what's in them and what we can use them for. So for this class we're going to be using the Python programming language, but we're going to be doing that programming within a Jupyter notebook environment, which is going to allow you to do interactively write your code and run it and look at the output all in one browser screen, and also keep nicely formatted markdown documentation for your code. And then to avoid sort of the common pitfall of a programming class, which is on the very first day, everybody has to spend time downloading whatever packages and software that they're going to be using for the class on their various different kinds of computer machines with different setups, but you don't know what you're doing yet because you don't know any computer programming, because that's why you're there for that class. So to avoid that headache, we're going to be using what's called the Jupyter Hub, which is going to run. We're going to use the UC Berkeley Data Hub, and so where you can find that is in the link. There's a link at the top of the modules page for the class, and then also each of these links to one of the notebooks for the in-class or for the homework. Oh, this Jupyter link. So when I click on that, it's going to take me to some file space on a UC Berkeley computer where the code for this class is going to live. And so that's where I can find the notebooks for this class and where they'll run, rather than having to have all of us have the same kind of versions of Python and things on our computers. But what do we want to do today? We're just going to look at kind of a blank notebook starting from scratch and look at some of the basic features. So to launch a new notebook, I'm going to go to my terminal window and type Jupyter Notebook, and that's going to bring me back over to my browser and launch a Jupyter window, and then I can go to new Python 3. So then this is a new blank notebook. So the first thing I want to do is to rename it so that there aren't just a bunch of untitled notebooks floating around on my computer. So I'll call this EPS88 first notebook. So I'll rename that. Okay, and so then this thing highlighted in green here, this is what we call a cell. And it can either be a code cell or a markdown cell. And I can change between the two with this pull-down tab here. So I'm going to make this first one a markdown cell so I can keep some notes to myself about what I'm going to be doing in this notebook. So I'm just going to tell myself later that this is the first Jupyter notebook for PS88. Okay, now to run this cell, which for a markdown cell is going to typeset it, I can hit this run button. So I'll do that. I could also have gone to the cell, run cells, run all, depending on how many cells code cells you've written. You might want to use some of those other things. I can also, so I can make it editable again by double clicking on it. Say I want to emphasize this, I'll make it bold. Also, something that's a little bit faster, I find once you get the hang of it, is to hold the shift key and hit enter. And that'll also run the code, or run your cell. Okay, so then let's try writing a code cell. So we'll just write sort of the simplest possible code. So this is just going to call the Python function print, and it's going to print whatever I'm going to put in parentheses. So if I have some variables set, I could type in the variable name, and that's going to print out the value of the variable. Or I can put in quotation marks and then type in a phrase, and it will print out that phrase. So again, I'll hit the shift return, and that is going to run that cell. And for this thing, it's gonna run my program that's just printing out this phrase. So that's running a cell. If I want to add a new cell, I can hit this plus sign. If I want to delete a cell, I can use the scissors, the cut. So periodically, as you're writing your code, you'll want to save your progress so you don't lose anything. There's this message up here that tells you the last time you saved was 2 minutes ago, and that I have some unsaved changes. So I'm going to save now, and I do that by clicking this file symbol or floppy disk. So then let's see if I do something that isn't going to work, what happens? I get an error message. And obviously, since you guys are not experts yet, that's why you're taking this class, you're going to get quite a few error messages. So the places you'll want to look in order to kind of find the information you'll need to start debugging, there should be a line where there's some arrows and a line number, and that's going to tell you what line of your code produced the error. And then the last line of the error message is going to give you some information about sort of the nature of the error. And so here it's fairly straightforward. It's just telling me that x isn't defined, so I need to define it before I can use it for anything. But sometimes you'll get error messages that you won't understand how you got or what you need to do to fix them. So what are you going to do to help troubleshoot? Well, for this class, that's the neighbor kids. For this class, what we're recommending is that you use the class discourse page, which is going to be a discussion forum, and you can get to that from within the links in the top of the modules page. There's a link to the discourse board that's going to take you to our class discussion board, and so you can add new topics. You can go to, if there's already a category and a topic that'll be similar to what you want to do, you can click on that. And then from here you can reply to an existing topic, or you can add a new topic, and you can type in a comment that then we can reply to with your question. So something simple like I got an error message. I got an error. What do I do? Which is this? I mean, this is what you're trying to solve, but this isn't a very useful comment. What you're going to want to do is describe some more information while what you were trying to do while trying to print my variable. And then what message you got. And then maybe another classmate who's already encountered this problem and found a solution, or me or Aaron will come in and be able to reply to your comment and help you figure out what to do next. So that is kind of the basics of Jupyter Notebooks and how to add new cells and save and run your cells. And then what to do when you have errors. For this class, we'll be starting from Jupyter Notebooks that already have kind of a lot of information filled out, markdown cells with kind of descriptions of what you're going to be coding, and blocks of code that are already written that you'll just complete or run. But by the end of the class, you'll be getting up to the point where you can just start from a blank notebook and write code that does things. So that's the goal. So this is Introduction to Jupyter Notebooks. Thanks for watching.